That was the unrealistic part. We're not gonna kick anything down. And then see how magically a 20-foot hole in the wall was created? That's not gonna happen at all. Hey GQ, I'm Greg Shepherd, a firefighter, and this is The Breakdown. First up, Ladder 49. So this movie's called Ladder 49, not Engine 49. So there's a difference, right? So in the engine, primarily our job is to respond to medical emergencies and in the realm of a fire, put the fire out. That's why we have all the holes in the back. The ladder, or better known as a truck, their job is to find the fire and locate any other civilians or people that might be in danger. There's a saying in the fire department, the engine goes to the burn center and the truck goes to metal day. There's never any glorifying stuff in movies about the engine.
You're not afraid of heights, are you, Jay? All right, let's gear up.
Pause here. What they're gonna attempt to do is perform a roof rope rescue. The victim is actually out of the area of the reach of the ladder, which is about 100 feet. So now we're gonna use our rope, which is 150 feet from an aerial standpoint to get the victim.
I got this. Try not to drop you.
So in this movie, Joaquin Phoenix is considered the probie or the rookie, the junior member on the job. From day one out of probie school, you're expected to complete any position or any task on the fire floor. We believe in all our members to do the job. My first fire, I had control. So my job was to get water, which is the most important job on the fire ground. Bad things happen when the engine does not get water.
Check your rigs. Put it around your way.
So what you see here are members acting very fast and efficiently. And that's exactly what you want to be as a professional firefighter. We practice this drill or evolution twice a week. Every firefighter across the city knows exactly what we're doing. It's one drill.
Ready?
There's thousands of fire departments across this country, and they all have their own SOPs, or standard operating procedures. This film was shot in Baltimore. I'm not sure if this is something that they would do, but in New York City, we would tie off with a substantial object. Another member would tie and clip in to his harness to lower the firefighter down to get the victim.
49 to command, we got a man coming over the top.
He just let the command know we're gonna perform a roof rope rescue. That's gonna alert everyone, including the inside team, that may be on the fire floor. They're gonna try their absolute best, despite heat and flame, to get that individual from their window.
Nice and easy, guys, no race.
One of the members actually puts their jacket over the parapet to ease the rope down. We call that an anti-chafing device. It usually comes with the roof rope rescue pack. For some reason, he used his bunker jacket, which is totally fine as well. It's very rare that we actually do this, but you got one shot and it has to be perfect every time.
Come on.
We are trained to let the guys up above, hey, I'm 2 feet away, I'm 3 feet, stop here, and then recalibrate and talk to the victim and let them know that, hey, I'm here, I'm coming, don't do anything, I'm right here, just hold on tight.
Yeah, Bob, we're on the scene in Chopper 7.
Even in a great big city like this, chances of a helicopter being there, pretty low. People below filming on Citizen, without a doubt, that's definitely gonna happen too.
Wait till on set, just wait till on set.
I love how he said, hold on, stay there, instead of saying things like, don't jump. When they hear words like jump, unfortunately, they might just do exactly that.
Hold it, Tony, hold it! Oh, there they go!
Close your eyes, put your head against me. Okay. All right?
It's extremely important for the actual rescuer to stay calm. You don't want to deviate from what you've been taught and trained.
We're gonna be okay, you just stay calm, okay? Stay calm.
In a situation like this, where the victim is undeniably losing control, you definitely want to assure them that you're here, you're going to protect them, you got them, don't worry about it. That's very important to give them mental confidence that everything's going to be okay. Realistically, we're not going to swing back and forth, kicking off of the window ledge. We're not Tarzan. What you're actually going to do is stand as close as possible to the window and have the inside team take the windows and pull you in. Ideally, the inside team would get there before you were lowered down. But nothing's perfect. You know, they might have been overcome by heat and fire. That's why we have tools for every type of situation. This movie, Ladder 49, they did an amazing job in keeping it real and showcasing everyday evolutions that we may go through in the city. The only thing that was troubling was the Tarzan-like swinging into the middle of the street. No one's gonna do that. Next up, the King of Staten Island.
You see that? That's a nice straight line.
Yeah, you guys
Gotta do a lot of work, huh?
Pause here. Everything that we do for the firehouse is for us. We're prideful in where we come from and where we work. We want it to be the best. We want it to look the best. The tasks in the firehouse are usually divided in between the company, the engine or the truck. 1 month, the engine may have upstairs, so we're in charge of all the beds, all the sheets, cleaning up the officers' rooms and whatnot. This is all called committee work, and we do this every day, 7 days a week.
I don't even know why you gotta clean the truck. Were you trying to show up all sexy to a fire?
Committee work is a great way to build bonding moments with the other members. Some examples of committee work could be changing the sheets, taping up tools, cleaning tools, and taking care of the cat's litter box.
So, no Dalmatian?
No Dalmatian. Contrary to popular belief, most firehouses don't have Dalmatians. We used to, back in the 1800s. We didn't have fire trucks. We had horses taking us to the fires. And Dalmatians are actually amazing pets to have around horses because it calms them down. One of the best parts about the fire department is it's teamwork based. Everything is communal, even down to us getting the meal. So we'll go out to the supermarket together and we'll come back and we'll prepare it and make it together.
You gotta wash it hot because of the bed bugs.
What's bed bugs?
Bed bugs are definitely something that you have to worry about working in a large city. We respond to maybe 10 to 20 different emergencies a day, depending on what part of the city you're in. Not every civilian's living the same way as you may, so being exposed to different illnesses or insects is a very realistic thing.
They're a tiny insect that get into your home.
Pause here. So for some reason, in every firehouse, there's just one senior guy that knows everything about everything. You never question them. They can help with your taxes, help you with your pension, provide a good divorce attorney, whatever you want. We spend an enormous amount of time with each other every day. A day tour is 9 hours and a night tour is 15, but most times guys come in and work 24. We, have fun with each other sometimes. Sometimes there's lessons involved with this. Hazing and things of that nature is not something that we do. You don't want to make someone feel uncomfortable, or more importantly, you don't want to harm anyone.
Were you on the job when Stan was killed? What's the first thing you thought of when you heard?
I wonder if he had kids.
Being a firefighter, unfortunately, can affect your family life as well. You're not at home as much as someone in a traditional 9 to 5. And also there's a risk factor. It's a very dangerous job. At first, I think my family was pretty worried. It was a little stressful for them, more for them than for me. This is something that I always wanted to do since I was 5. That's all I ever truly want to do in my life, is to be a firefighter. So let's skip ahead to later on in the movie.
Listen up, we're getting multiple calls on this box. Going to a fire, suit up.
We don't allow civilians to ride with us in the fire trucks, especially going to emergencies. It's a safety protocol for us. Sometimes we get into accidents, and we wouldn't want anything to happen to someone that's off duty or not a member of the department. So that tan cloth that he's putting around his head and neck is actually called a hood. That's gonna protect your neck and your face and your forehead area, parts that may be exposed from the face piece and the helmet.
Transmit a second alarm. Box 118. Fire on the first and second floor of a 5-story multiple dwelling.
Box 118 means the address you're going to, pretty much. What's going through my head when I'm going to a fire, I want to just make sure I have all my tools and I'm going exactly where I need to go. We're looking at the MDT screen. It's letting us know where it is, what floor possibly, any additional information that we may need to know about that building. I'm getting pumped up, just mentally preparing myself for a good fight. What you see here is an indication of one of our larger fires that we may face in the city. Every fire scene is different. Some are more hairier than others. It just depends on the combustible material that someone may have in their residence or apartment. You saw the hose being flaked out by itself as the engine proceeded to the fire building. That is something we would do. It actually makes it easier for us to stretch line, saves energy for the members.
Opening the door.
49, here comes your water.
Hit it, go, hit it.
So what you see here is every member has a specific task. Chauffeur hooking up to the discharge, allowing the nozzle man and the backup man to have water. Another member climbing a portable ladder to get inside the fire department. That's our outside vent man. Every position on the fire floor is critical and everyone needs to do their job. So here in this movie, they actually did a really good job showing how no matter what's going on, you gotta get to where you gotta get and do your job. Steve Buscemi, he's the chauffeur. It's an extremely important job. You have to get us to the box and get there safe. His job is to get us water. Without water, nothing good happens at a fire scene. What Steve is doing is adjusting the pressure to a specific line. At a fire, we can have 2 to 3 different hand lines off of one engine. So it's very important that you know what pressure and how much to give that specific hand line. That's why it's all color coordinated at the pump panel. It looks like he did it before, yeah. And I believe Steve was a firefighter as well prior to him becoming very famous in acting.
George, take the aerial and vent that 3rd floor window.
Take the aerial and vent the 3rd floor window. Probably telling the OV, climb the fire truck or ladder and get to the window. Make it essentially a door. You want to make that easy as possible to get out if you need to retreat. That's not something that we would do. We're not gonna just dive in head first. What they were missing was actually, we want to sound the floor, make sure it's substantial enough for our weight. Then he'll go in with his leg, not just diving in with his head. Engine members and ladder members all wear the same gear. The difference is the tools. So the roof man's gonna have a saw and a Halligan hook, as opposed to someone in the engine. Our main job is the hose line. So irons man's gonna have a Halligan and an axe or a maul. The can man's gonna have a water can and a hook. So the weight variances on the position. On average, the bunker gear is about 75 pounds. And working in a very vertical city like New York, it can be very difficult at times.
I got a 1045 on the 2nd floor.
Terminology in this film was pretty accurate. They used things like 1045, which means civilian that was in or around the IDLH, which means inherently dangerous to life and health. You see here how the portable ladder is at the window with the fire. In real life, he might have put it to the window that is just smoky. You're not gonna wanna go into part of the apartment where it's completely engulfed in flames when you can easily move it over 2 feet and go into the one where it's just smoky. So the bunker gear in this film does look pretty accurate. They probably used models that were maybe 2 or 3 years older than what we currently have, but it was pretty spot on. I seen guys with that gear on. Good pause. So what you saw there was the firefighter giving a civilian oxygen through his face piece. To preserve life, that's something we would do. Next up, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. We pride ourselves on getting there very efficiently and fast. From the time you get the alarm from the house watch person letting us know what it is till we're actually on the rig, I would say within about maybe 45 seconds and we're out the door. So most times we're around the firehouse, we are just in our uniform. It could be shorts or long pants and an apartment issue polo or button shirt. So when a run comes in, we just run into our bunker pants, which has our boots already assembled with them. Put on our coat and our hood, gloves and helmet, and then our SCBA's already on the rig. We still do have poles in every firehouse. It's just a faster way for us to get down if we get a call emergency.
Mom, you said you're gonna sign Mr. February for me.
I will. I just gotta go save the city first.
The calendar is a very real thing. We do have calendar for firefighters in the city. I'm not part of it. I might be part of like the dad bod edition or something like that. But no. We host a lot of fundraisers, whether it's for our members or someone in the community. We always love helping people. As firefighters, that's what we pride ourselves on. There's a pause right here. We don't ride on the outside of the apparatuses anymore. That was in the 70s. Members have gotten injured by holding on to the outside of a fire truck. We get very minimal information about what we're going to, maybe the building type, structure, how many floors, where the caller is calling from. That's not always indicative of where the fire is. And then when we get there, we get a better sense of what's going on. You could probably see the smoke coming from a certain floor or window, and that helps you adapt to what you're going into.
My son is up there.
That is something very real. You're gonna get civilians running to you with all kinds of information. You always want to be in a good headspace. You wanna know what the job is, what you're doing, where you're going, and what you need when you get there. There's gonna be all types of distractions. Cars parked on the hydrant, people yelling, saying my baby's up there, my friend member's up there. It's a lot going on. You got other companies coming in from all different directions. It's very imperative that you just stay focused and worry about the task at hand. All of the bunker gear has been fitted for our name to be at the bottom. This help identify you and which company you're from.
It's open.
We are very strong individuals, but no one's kicking down the door. If you kick the door in that's reinforced with steel, you're gonna break a toe, maybe fracture your femur. So we always wanna use our tools and force the door that way. It's usually like maybe a section of fire, not stuff over here, stuff to the corner. It's a little Hollywood fluff. Just two people searching is not too realistic. You should have the ironsman, the camman, and the officer, which their job as an inside team is exactly that, to go inside. Everything's not cookie cutter. We have certain rules and procedures, and we know what things are supposed to look like, but sometimes we have to deviate. Maybe there's more than one 1045, so now you have to veer off and get the other civilian by yourself. That happens, you know? We put the value of life above everything.
Let me hear that voice! I'm up here in my room! All right, try and stay calm!
If you have contact with the victim that you can't see, yes, you're gonna constantly communicate with them. They're in the fire, they're trapped, and they hear you coming to get them. Your voice is soothing to them. You wanna keep talking to them, keep them active, keep them engaged, and it also helps you locate them, because now you can hear where they are.
Where you at, buddy? Let's hear that voice!
I would have my face piece on, definitely. Looking around, standing up. That's not something we would do. In a real fire, it'll be pitch black. At this point, there's gonna be a lot of smoke and you won't be able to see a damn thing. So I would get low. That's also beneficial as well, because now if you're low, you can have better balance. God forbid there's a hole in front of you or whatnot. You can kind of predict that better with crawling and having a hand out or a foot out. When they were making their way through the hallway, you saw a lot of flame on top of the ceiling. You might see something like that in the actual fire.
Oh, all right, let's find a new way in.
The original path to that fire apartment or door was blocked off by high heat. So what they did was made a shortcut through the wall, but they kicked it down. That was the unrealistic part. We're not gonna kick anything down. And then see how magically a 20-foot hole in the wall was created? That's not gonna happen at all.
People with cars, it's adrenaline, you know?
Hey, buddy, we're gonna help you out here. Come on.
A person of this size, we can't just drag them out or put them on our shoulders like how you would see in movies. What would be a good way, as opposed to what they're doing, is actually putting a girth hitch around a person's chest and dragging them out with your nylon webbing. There's definitely no running up and forcing momentum to push people out. That's very unrealistic. So overall, Chuck and Larry, they did less than realistic in this. The protocols, procedures, and things of that nature aren't really true to what we do. But I like the fact that they actually use a real firehouse. That firehouse is in Brooklyn, and it still kind of looks the same to this day. Next up, Backdraft.
Wait. Make sure you check it first. Oh, yeah.
You want to check for heat at a door before forcing it, and you want to check the doorknob. Maybe it's open. Maybe you don't have to force it.
Here we go. Now get that mask back on. Right.
That's not realistic. Our officers are trained to be professional as well, and they lead by example. They're gonna have their face piece on as well, not just tell you to put yours on. Also, the officer had his coat wide open. The ironsman, he wasn't masked up, he wasn't ready to go. If thick black smoke came billowing out that door, he might be fumbling around to get his face piece on and find his tools. You know, anything can happen when you're not prepared. That is a pre-indicator of a backdraft in the very near future. You're gonna have thick, black, velvety smoke pulsate in and out very rapidly. What they had here was more of a light, steamy look, but they got the gist of what it would look like as far as speed goes. A backdraft is pretty much an explosion of the byproducts of fire. Superheated gases explode and ignite everything in that room. What causes a backdraft is now a sudden rush of oxygen into that area, or IDLH. To be honest, I've never been in a backdraft. Thank God that I haven't. But to the science, it wasn't that accurate, because everything in that room would be on fire as the superheated gases are exploding. That was a little Hollywoodish, where it was more of like a fireball or dragon breath coming at that firefighter. It's not gonna just be pinpointed to one person or one object in a fire room. It's gonna spread out from a place of high pressure to low pressure. Your skin starts to burn at about 150 degrees. Your lungs can sear at anywhere from 300 degrees on upward. In the backdraft, it's probably about maybe 2,000 degrees. So unfortunately, with his face piece compromised and his lungs definitely for sure seared, his chances of surviving are very low. So you have the member pretty much fully engulfed in flame, and the nozzleman brings the line and opens it up on him. In situations like that, you have to think outside the box. That's not something that we traditionally would do, but he may have helped the situation by outing the fire that's on him. But you gotta be careful though, because with water and immense heat, you could actually give this member steam burns all over his body as you're dousing him with water. It wasn't too far-fetched that he was able to respond that quickly, because we're usually right there in the fire room with the truck. I think most firefighters have seen this film, whether they like to admit it or not. I wouldn't necessarily say they all think that it's realistic, but for the simple fact that it was like one of the first big budget Hollywood films that portrayed our profession, that's what made it pretty popular within our community. Next up, The Towering Inferno.
Pull out the floor plans on 82, we got problems. Fire locking? Yeah. Are your comm lines all set up and tested? Phone jacks on every floor. I'm gonna plug into your PA system.
It's very realistic that a chief on scene is going to gather additional resources that can help execute to put this fire out by using the resources that he has available. I like the fact that despite there being a collapse and members injured, the nozzle person stood his ground and he kept attacking the fire. There's gonna be other people right there to help those members that were in need or ceiling collapsed on them. But it's very important to continue to aggressively knock that fire out.
Fire's moving toward the main shaft. Use the scenic elevator.
All right, pause here. You never ever wanna take an elevator during a fire emergency. People have died by doing this. If you can, walk down the stairs. As firefighters, yeah, there are instances where we might take the elevator, and that's anything above the 8th floor or higher. 876543321, we're gonna just walk up the stairs. We'll never get off at the fire floor. We're gonna take it 2 floors below and walk the rest up.
Please, we'll use the scenic elevators over there.
This is why we have fire codes where we have capacity limit for many occupants that could be in one place at one time. You know, it reduces the risk of hysteria and people panicking and doing things like overcrowding an elevator during a fire. Since this movie's been made, we've had a lot of technical advances for firefighting. In tall commercial buildings like this, we would have automatic doors that close as soon as sensors went off that there might be a fire or smoke condition. Also, automatic sprinklers save lives. It gives us water right there where that incident is, and a lot of times, fire's put out before we even get there in those situations. And the standpipe. We're able to get water from every floor, and we're able to access that from multiple locations.
Take it down! Empty all the water out!
What you see there is a firefighter pulling ceiling down. We do that primarily to check for extension, to see where the fire has traveled to. Generally, we don't do that while we're operating a hose line. That can cause the ceiling to collapse on the members below that are operating to put the fire out. I'm assuming that ringing you heard was an indication that that member had a quarter or less of oxygen left to breathe in his cylinder.
Get another tank!
When we hear that, we start to make our way out. What I didn't like was he gave up the nozzle. We don't do that, ever, ever. Especially not to a chief. Not only is it written that you have a position and you should fulfill it, you know, we have too much pride to give up the nozzle. And if we have to give it up, we'll give it up to somebody behind us in our own company. Towering Inferno, it seems semi-realistic. I like how the viber alert went off and it alerted the member that he was low on breathing air. Some things weren't as accurate, like pulling ceilings while you're advancing. And obviously, the chief taking the line. That's not gonna happen. Next up, Mr. Dietz.
Jeez, I'm cold. Fire.
Fire?
We should help.
We should?
Let's get going.
Firefighters love to do what they do. Even you're off duty, you may go to a scene that you may live by or just in the area.
Longfellow Deeds, Mandre Falls Volunteer Fire Chief. I'll be up there in a jiff, buddy.
But it's pretty unrealistic that someone that's off-duty volunteer firefighter would impede the fire operation that's being conducted by another department altogether. He's not gonna have a guy come off the street and be like, hey, I'm coming in to help you guys out. That's not really gonna happen.
It's an honor to work with New York's bravest guys.
Volunteer firefighters are great. You know, they do what they do. They love their community. We have a lot of volunteer firefighters in our department as well. Everyone that I've come across, they've been very knowledgeable and just good people in general.
We'll catch you.
Go away! No, I can't leave without me kitties. They're all I got.
If you come to a fire scene and someone hanging out the window, you can probably reach them through the aerial ladder. Or the inside team, the truck, can pull her in from the window. And if that doesn't work, we could also lower a member from the roof. They'll grab her from the window and we'll lower them down to the floor below or 2 floors below.
Oh, Lord, it's up here. Oh,
Calm down. Calm down.
kitties, come to
Everything's
mommy.
gonna be all right.
This part of the clip was a little frustrating to watch. The fact that there was literally one box of cereal on fire, that's not realistic. You know, maybe a whole section or portion of the apartment would be on fire, not just one item.
I'm not leaving without me kitties.
How many do you got?
7.
Holy sh**.
How they were just talking so clear and carefree. It's not gonna happen. There's gonna be a lot of smoke. Someone without the gear that we have, more than likely is gonna be coughing and choking from the thick smoke that's in their apartment.
We go.
The cats are, you know, very important. They're our life. We love animals. We do whatever it takes to save human and pet life. You know, they might run away from you or whatnot, but I'm gonna try my best to grab them and hold on to them and take them out of the smoky condition and get some oxygen to that animal or pet. That circular device that you might see in circuses and whatnot, that's not something that we actually use. It's called a Browder life net. It was introduced to fire departments in the 1800s, but was taken out of service in our department in the 70s. We took it out of service because people have gotten severely hurt from missing the net or bouncing off of it or falling through it. So we no longer use that at all whatsoever.
Are you okay?
Yes, I am. Thanks to you.
Mr. Deeds was a bit far-fetched just because it was an off-duty volunteer guy going in and threw like 40 cats out the window and the one box of cereal that was on fire. Yeah, that got to me. Next up, Rescue Me.
Yo, dudes. Hey, nice and cool, asshole. Yeah, it's great.
We all go to fires in the middle of the summer. You'll be at the top floor. You come back, you're drained, you're beat, but I've never seen anyone drink water from the engine.
It's nice, it's cool, and fresh.
Can you? Yeah, sure. You just hook up the bent tip nozzle to the discharge and, you know, you could pour some water out of that, but no one's gonna do that.
You're supposed to fill the cooler with water, asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Every fire truck in the city has a 5-gallon Gatorade cooler, and we fill it with ice at the change of every tour. But also, we have a rack unit. They have water and Gatorade for us as well. So there's no need to drink the rusty water coming from the engine.
It's just the same as drinking water and hydrant water.
No, it's not the same, asshole.
Every fire engine in the city has 500 gallons of water already in their rig or apparatus, but it gets replenished with the hydrant water that's coming from the main. We don't mix the water with fire retardant other than we're doing a foam operation. We'll mix the water with foam. If we have a chemical fire or whatnot, we'll use that operation. But normally, no, there's no additives into the water. What you're seeing here is more than likely after the fire is put under control and everyone just recouping. We should do that by the fire truck after the fire is put out.
I think of the deal. The championship ice cream.
Yeah, no matter how good the ice cream truck looks, we're a professional fire department and, you know, we want to uphold those standards.
What the hell is this? It ain't a Sunday picnic in the park.
No one's gonna do that. No one's gonna rush a ice cream truck. It's not gonna happen. And more than likely, we probably wouldn't have any money on us anyway. We don't carry cash with us on the way to emergencies.
You got any strawberry shortcake things in there?
As for this clip, I think Rescue Me did a good job of portraying what it's like to be an actual firefighter. It looked realistic. The gear and the manner in which you guys speak to each other seemed pretty accurate. Next up, Chicago Fire. There's no standard fire truck per se. Every city, every department has their fire trucks specifically made for that environment or terrain. Even in a larger department, we may have different types of apparatus for different types of emergencies.
Hey, you got a driver pinned inside?
So what we have here is a truck full of propane tanks and a car that's crashed into it. I also saw a firefighter in the beginning trying to knock it down with a foam can. Maybe the engine wasn't there. You know, the guys with the hose in the water, it's okay. It cools some others and suppresses whatever you're trying to knock down.
Get those flames out, Kaufman.
I was a little worried about the distance in which he was. That's why stretching the hand line would have been better in that situation. The hand line is just another name for the hose that we stretch to fire emergencies.
All right, 81, let's get the driver out. Cutter's jaws and cribbing.
I ain't worried about the guy in the car that could be trapped or pinned. If you listen, they were talking about bringing out the jaws of life.
Cutter's jaws and cribbing.
What we call the hearse tool. When you're operating that, you need a hand line there as well. As far as Hollywood goes, so far so good.
Propane tanks in the back of the truck! They're right in the flames!
With the propane tanks, those explode. You're worried about fire and projectiles. You want that guy away from exploding propane tanks as fast as possible.
Son! Oh, that's reverse!
But pulling the truck that they're in and you don't know if they have any severe neck or head trauma might not be the way to go. You can actually cause more damage that way. Having a hose line there will actually shield you from advancing towards that danger. And also, if they're pulling out the hearse tool, you want to have that just in case it generates sparks. That can actually cause a fire or explosion as well.
Go, keep going.
The best way to combat that situation will be to get water on the tanks, cool it down, and that's gonna limit the risk of it actually exploding. I would at least try that before I would jerk a 2-ton vehicle with someone in there with head or neck trauma. EMS, without a doubt, will be there, but until we transport that patient to them, this is our scene. We're gonna go in and command the scene and make sure things are done adequately before we transfer him off to EMS.
All right, boys! Let's put this fire out!
Overall, I think Chicago Fire had a good understanding of what we may do, but they added a little too much Hollywood to that clip. Thanks for watching these clips with me. It was great. GQ, I love you. See you next time.